Hey everybody, I'm Jack. This is Raw Tropical Living. Thanks for joining me again today. Hope your week's off to a good start. It's kind of a gray Monday here in Alabama and the temperature's a little warmer than it has been the last few mornings, but it's all good. It's all good. Anytime I wake up 6 feet above ground, it's a good day. Let's get started at it today. I want to tell you how the raw food diet probably saved my life. Guys, I do videos every day, so if you haven't already done it, go down there and hit that subscribe button now, and then make sure you click on the little bell and check send notifications so you'll stay subscribed to the channel. You know, since I've had this issue with my torso, I've been spending a lot of time on my back with the heating pad, and it gives me time to think about things, and I've been inside my head quite a bit the past couple of months. One, because I'm here by myself and don't have anybody to have a conversation with, and two, because of this kind of body ache stiffness thing I've been having. I've been a little out of my normal routine, so I've had a lot more time to contemplate, get inside my own head and stuff. Now, what I'm going to talk about today, I'm just kind of telling my story again in a different way. When I say it probably saved my life, this is different. This isn't one of those stories. I didn't have some sort of illness or health condition. You know, it didn't save me from cancer. It didn't say I don't think I had any heart disease. In other words, all my numbers, I didn't have high cholesterol, a lot of that stuff anyway. So I'm not saying that switching to the raw food physically, you know, saved my life, but more so like this. I've told you guys before, and I've tried to actually stress that so you can see it, because sometimes what you see here, it's hard to realize what I used to be. I was a hardcore drunk. I mean, I drank hard for 30 years. I was a binge drinker. I would go on 4- and 5-day benders, and you know, your average college kid that thinks they're binge drinking, I'm not talking about where you get drunk 3 or 4 nights in a row. I'm talking about where you drink solid for 4 or 5 days. Anything, and I would put anything in my body. It would generally be a beer, chasing shots and doing this and that. So after about 5 days of doing that, and I did that a number of times, the binges still make me cringe sometimes. After I would do that for 5 or 6 days sometimes, and it was just, you know, the body had had enough and it was time to start coming down, that shit was miserable, man. I mean, I was like, you know, under the covers shaking and stuff for a day or two until I started, you know, kind of coming out of that. I got into all kind of trouble. It got me into trouble. One of the things I'm really, one of the few things I look back on with shame and guilt is that I drank and drove a lot of times. So could have killed myself, could have, you know, hurt somebody else, and that would have been hard to live with for the rest of your life. Fortunately, you know, moved to Costa Rica, didn't do a lot of driving, so a lot of the drinking and driving is in my past. The biggest thing, like I say, and that's why people, you know, sometimes you see people that have a drug problem and they seem more extreme, but that alcohol, that's a slow burn. That's a slow burn. And, you know, I kind of don't identify as an alcoholic because I could always stop. And when I did finally stop, I stopped. So I just considered myself a drunk. But when you do, you know, when you do that much abuse to your body with alcohol, I mean, I was like, that's what got me on my health journey in the first place. Was thinking, okay, you know, it's going to be time to pay the piper. You don't get off free on this kind of stuff. So I was worried about it, and I initially got into looking into my health because of the liver. You know, I was worried, what's my liver going to do with this? There's other things too. You know, heavy alcohol use and abuse leads to a variety of cancers, esophageal cancer, oral cancer, just a ton of things like that. So I mean, drinking just was not good for me. Now, where the raw food diet comes in, why do I think that probably saved my life? Because the raw food diet's extreme. It is extreme. It's extreme compared to what other people do with their food. It's not extreme if you think of it like, if you think, okay, people have their hearts, their ribs cracked open. They don't look at that as extreme. They have parts of their body cut out. They don't look at that as extreme. Yet I eat good whole plant-based foods, and damn, dude, that's extreme, really? I understand people are, you know, it's almost like the food is like a drug to a certain extent. It's like I'm telling my mother a lot of times when I'm describing taste and stuff, and she says, "Oh, well, that sounds kind of plain," and I'm like, because you know, I've got a detox tongue. My tongue has, like, you know, been the taste buds have rearranged, and I've figured out what's good to me. In other words, I had to, you know, when I was on the standard American diet, what do? There's condiments. We put 25 condiments, shake this, shake that. Now I just taste pure things. And, okay, so let me play devil's advocate, as I've had people, you know, play devil's advocate or actually just ask me this before. Why did you have to go, you know, like, why did it have to be all the way like that? What if I had never come, what if I had, that weekend that I kind of became a vegan, that I saw all this stuff, that I understood, what if I'd never seen that? What if for some reason, like that butterfly effect, the only way I came on this raw vegan thing was randomly. I'm looking up health stuff all the time, and somebody on Facebook shared something that I clicked on that led somewhere else. In other words, there was about 6 degrees of separation there. I don't remember how I exactly came upon my first information about the raw food diet, but I needed that. I mean, I found something that I profoundly believed in. I could feel working for me from the beginning. And it just made sense. I don't debate it. If it's not for you, I'm never, ever, ever going to waste even a second of my life debating it. I eat what I eat. You eat what you eat. You can, hell, you can eat out of the garbage. You can eat grass outside. You can eat tires if you want to. It ain't going in my body. But I know my personality type. And the reason that I think this raw vegan lifestyle has been so good for me is history. I've gone through, and I've probably told you guys this before, like I was not like a total drunk screw up. I had different lives. Like I always went to the gym. I had a healthy side about me. I would quit drinking, or I would cut back way back on drinking, and I would, you know, start eating better. And I would get in the gym, and I would do a lot of exercise. And when I meant eating better back then, which is an interesting point, I wasn't trying to be vegan, I wasn't vegan, but every time that I kind of like was cleaning up my act and started, you know, getting in shape, getting fit, getting this and that, I just naturally dropped animal products and was eating less animal products. I've looked back a number of times and think, oh yeah, I remember that 10 years ago when I was eating, okay, I didn't eat them like we do now. I remember in Costa Rica, most every breakfast place served a big fruit bowl. Place I like to go, put yogurt in with it and granola, but still, I'm comparing to the standard American diet now and the way most people eat. Yeah, I don't eat yogurt, I don't eat dairy, I don't really use granola, but that was healthier than me waking up from a hangover, going down to my local breakfast place and just having cheese, eggs, bacon, all this nasty stuff. So I found that just naturally, before I knew about this thing, that when I got healthy, when I wanted to lose weight, when I started to get back into looking at my health, animal products would just go down. The consumption of them would go down. Now, let's say I had just decided, let's say I had gotten really diligent and I had really stayed on a path. See, the thing about me is I know myself and I know my patterns from in the past. In the past, when I did these little spells of getting real healthy or whatever, it was like I didn't have like a system. I don't know what I'm trying to think of there. It's like I didn't have a specific thought pattern that I was holding on to like I do with the raw food diet, or like like I was just kind of winging it. You know, I was just being healthier. And, you know, what would always happen is I would lose the weight, slim down, get the six-pack, be looking good, and that was what it was more about than anything. I should go back, take a step back there. I judged everything by looking in the mirror and how I looked, like, you know, how does the chest, how do the biceps, are you lean, do you have a six-pack? When, you know, looking back, that's a good thing. Weight-bearing exercise is good, but that had nothing to do with my real state of health. And I just know myself, if I had not come to this lifestyle, I would have gone back to the bottle eventually. There's just no effing doubt about that, because I've stopped drinking a number of times in my life. I stopped drinking when I would get healthy, and I would always rationalize with myself, okay, you're going to take a period of off from drinking, get it out of your system, and then it would always be, there would be this period after being dry for a while, like, okay, now I get it. Now I can drink more moderately. And I would drink, you know, like and for a while I could do that, you know, where I would just go out with friends, have a couple or 3 drinks, but it would always build. It was always build. It would always build. And I know that would have happened again. I even saw I felt it a little bit a few months before I came to this lifestyle. I was living in the city, San Jose, Costa Rica at the time, and I went to the beach one weekend. Now at this time, I was kind of going, I hadn't found the raw vegan thing, I hadn't found vegan, but I was pretty darn healthy. And I had quit drinking for like 2 months, and then I came across, you know, red wine is very good for your cardio and blah, 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 bullshit. So I was drinking 1 glass of red wine a day, and I'd have like 1 square of dark chocolate. All right, so I'd been doing this for a month or so. So I go down to the beach for the weekend, in my head saying, okay, you're not going to get, you know, you're not going to do your normal patterns. You're not going to drink during the day. You're not going to get drunk. Go out at night. Ran into a friend. It was a sushi bar that I used to go to a lot, and I popped in there to have a glass of wine. Well, there was a guy bartending I hadn't seen in years. We get talking, and that was my thing right there. It wasn't even so much like, oh God, I need the alcohol. I loved going to bars. I loved sitting at the bar, talking to the bartender, interacting with people, and drinking. So that night that I went to, that I'd gone out, you know, I'd quit drinking for, I think, 2 months or so. Then I was into a period where I was having 1 glass a day for I forgot how long, and I'd been doing it at this time. So I go into my friend's place, and I didn't get tore up there, but it extended. I said, okay, well, you can have 2 glasses of wine since you're kind of on a little beach vacation. Turned into about 5 or 6 drinks. Not enough to get me crazy, not enough to get me drunk, but just enough to know, looking back, to know where that would have gone to. I know where that would have eventually gone, because I just didn't have that mentality. Once I found this raw food diet, once I started looking into this stuff, it's not even so much the raw food diet as the raw food diet opened my eyes to really value my health, to really pay attention to what was going on in me. And I think I caught it at just the right time. I mean, I'm 54. I've been doing this thing for about 6.5 years. So I was about 47 at the time. Now, I'm not saying if I had not come to this lifestyle, I think I'd be dead by now, but I know my patterns. I would have gotten back into that drinking, which would have probably, and I wouldn't if I'd have never come to that, even if I was keeping it low, I'd be consuming animal products. I'd be consuming quite a few animal products. One thing I did consume more of when I would go in these periods was like, okay, the cheese and dairy, I mean, the cheese and eggs isn't as bad as the meat. So I would have been, I'm sure, if I had not come to this lifestyle, I would have gone back to drinking, back to my pattern, you know, and I would have probably, you know, I would have ended up being a drunk again, and then I'd have cleaned up again, and the pattern would go on. That's a crucial period in a man's life, these last 7 years, from 48 to 54. You know, I mostly feel good today. I've got a little body issue, but I'm doing well. I don't see any of the signs that I was looking for when it comes to drinking related stuff, like jaundice, you know, like you're having liver problems. But yeah, another 7 years or 6.5 years of that kind of abuse on my body, I think I would have turned that peak. In other words, in this last few years, I still feel like I'm going up. I'm getting a little bit better, getting a little bit better, getting a little bit healthier. I think if I had not come to this, it would have been maybe not drastically, but down, 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 down. And I would probably be 55 here in about 4 or 5 months. I'd probably be getting into that older age. So anyhow, just kind of babbling, doing a little storytelling today, you know, because I get new people all the time. They don't know my story, but yeah, I'm pretty darn sure that I'm going to get more of my years out of life because of this lifestyle. And like I said, you can say, yeah, but you could have done something moderate. moderate never worked for me. Moderate never worked for me. I tried it for 46, 47 years. So anyhow, hope y'all enjoyed that today. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up, and we'll see you tomorrow. Peace.